Hello and welcome to another episode of Wearable Electronics with me, Becky Stern. Today we're flying solo. Mr. Lady Ada, Phil himself, will be back in a minute. In the meantime, I'm going to tell you what's on today's show. It's March 4th, and we're here celebrating another Wearable Wednesday. This week we'll be talking about today's project, which is these 3D printed hat graphics. Our component of the week is the Flora Book Parts Pack. Very exciting. We'll do Project Workshop, where we take one of your project ideas and workshop it, teach you what tutorials you need, maybe what parts you want to try. And we'll also have a Q&A. That's where you ask questions at any time in the comments, and I will queue them up for a future show, making you eligible to win the show's giveaway. Today's giveaway is a signed copy of my Getting Started with Adafruit Flora book, written with Tyler Cooper. First off, let's get to today's code. If you're looking to order some wearable parts, you can get 10% off with the code HATS. Talk about that more in a minute. Good for 10% off your order of anything but software or gift certificates. We're going to kick the show right off. Each Wearable Wednesday, we cover wearable topics on the Adafruit blog. This week, Amy Ratcliffe, our resident cosplay blogger, posted up this really cool 3D printed armor suit of Iron Man, inspired by Iron Man 3, created by Ross Wilkes. And he spent a really long time learning 3D modeling and printing to make this really impressive full suit of Iron Man armor that's totally functional and wearable, and probably pretty light too, because it's nice plastic. And hey, if you break a part, you could just print a new one. Also on the blog is these wearables for uncomfortable situations by artist Leah Alba. Leslie Birch posted that up on the blog. It's a really cool collar that, using like CO2 cartridges and pressure and strings, lots of cool physics going on there to make this collar form around your face when you're having an awkward moment at a cocktail party. Really nice art piece. And then on the Adafruit Learning System, we have a new tutorial from Erin St. Blaine. It's these really neat laces for your boots that light up in reaction to your movement. You can check out the full tutorial for that on the Adafruit Learning System. Let's just dive right into today's project. I'm sure you're excited to learn about these 3D printed hat graphics, and we have a video, so I'm just gonna show you that video.
Hey Noe, it's nice to see you, and I like your hat.
Thanks, I like your hat too. Why don't you tell us about this project you put together? This is really cool.
Sure, I saw this kid on the subway on my way to work one day who was wearing this baseball hat, and it had these like white letters on it. It looked like they were made out of plastic. And of course, you know me, the first thing I thought was, we can make that. And I thought, out of some 3D printing filament like Ninja Flex or other flexible thing, and I asked you if we could do it.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, that's a really good opportunity to use the text tool in 123D. I haven't used it too much, and so I took a look at using it. It's pretty straightforward to use it, and the really hard part for this project was really making the sew tabs. So tell me a little bit about how you came up with the sew tabs for this thing.
Yeah, I thought when I saw this kid's hat on the train that the letters were glued on, and I thought it would be fun to use sewing to attach 3D printed letters to the hat so that you could change it out and not have to use like nasty chemicals, plus you get some cool sewing experience. So the important part about the sew tabs is that they don't stick out off of the letters. They're actually part of the sidewall, the vertical sidewall of the letter, recessed in, and that lets you do things with contrasting colors so that your hat is one color and your letters are another color, and you get a nice crisp line all the way around. And so I sketched it up, and you modeled it in CAD.
Yeah, and it was pretty straightforward to put together. And so if you're wanting to put yours together, you definitely want to experiment with how many sew tabs and where, because I ended up making extra sew tabs that I didn't need, like in the center here, but it's actually okay. It's better to have more than fewer. How did you attach it to the hat? It's a little hard to get the needle in, so you have this really cool technique. Tell me about it.
Yeah, well, I like to work smarter, not harder, and after stabbing myself a bunch of times to trying to sew from the inside of the hat out, it's difficult to hold on to the 3D object and then sew another 3D object onto it. So you can use pins to hold it in steady, but you can also take one piece of thread and put a needle on each end, and then take those two needles and put them each through the holes in the sew tab, which when you pull it into the inside of the hat, then you have two tails on the inside and a loop on the outside that catches the sew tab, and you don't have to play a guessing game of where to pierce through the hat to get the position right. It is a lot of like threading the needle over and over again, but it's good practice if you're new to sewing. That's one of the things I like about this project is that it's pretty easy for beginners in modeling because the text tool is pretty easy to use. It's pretty easy for sewing also, so it's a generally really great beginner project.
And it doesn't have to be a hat. It can be maybe a book bag or a shirt or pants or something else. So it's really up to you guys on what you want to do with it. And it doesn't actually have to be NinjaFlex. You could also use PLA material, for example. Becky, I think you tried
I did.
an experiment with that.
I took some glow fill, which is that glow-in-the-dark PLA, and all I did was heat it up in a pan of water. I just put the water on the stove, let it boil, took it off the boil, and put the plastic in it for just a few seconds, and then I was able to form it around the hat to just get that general curve, and then sewed on just like the other ones. I did have to pierce out the holes in the sew tab with my rotary tool to get good clearance to get the needle through.
Okay, so a little bit more work, but definitely really cool that it glows in the dark.
Yeah, that's cool. I also tried with Semi-Flex. So this project works great with either NinjaFlex Classic or Semi-Flex. It's slightly less flexible cousin. Depending on the thickness of the letters, you can get away with a lot.
Yeah, I also printed this one in Semi-Flex, mainly because it has better detail. It's going to work better on your printer. It has less retraction, oozy problems, so that's really nice. So now that it's printed in NinjaFlex, how about adding electronics to it, making it glowy?
Yeah, I mean, that's what everybody asks me, right? It's pretty common. And I think that's a good place to take this project next. Maybe we'll do that if enough people request it as an upgrade. I think it could be easy to put the electronics behind the NinjaFlex. The white color diffuses LED light really nicely, and so you could hook it up with like some NeoPixel strip and a Gemma maybe, make it sound reactive like our previous project. So I think that our viewers at home could definitely take that leap and put electronics, and we'd love to see them. Noe, where can people show off their creations?
Yeah, you can show off at our Show and Tell show that's on every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Google+. Oh yeah.
And if you're not already, please subscribe to our channel on YouTube. We do new wearable electronics and 3D printing projects every week. And we'll see you next time.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Noe. Bye.
Bye.
I'm a little late to the party, but I am dressed to kill.
Good wearables joke, Phil. Welcome back. What do you think of today's project?
Well, Stacky Burn, I actually like it quite a bit. And I like that you took something that is iconic. Like in New York City, I guess I'll explain to folks out there. So New York City has like hat stores, multiple hat stores.
Yeah, I actually got these hats at that hat store.
Hat stores that are across the street from each other.
Yeah.
We have like 5 chess stores. So there's so many things in New York, and I like that this is something that people can use. You can express yourself, you can have your own letters, you can use different filament, it could be glow in the dark, it could be metal. So this is...
Could be metal, it'd be a little heavy, but it could be metal. This is the glow in the dark one.
Yeah, and so this is the new frontier of personal expression and real estate.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. You can go to that hat place, and I was buying the hats, and like everybody at the hat store was like, "You're sure you don't want to get these customized now?" And I was like, "No, you just wait."
YouTube.com/Adafruit.
I know, right? I think it's cool because like the custom hat embroidery is definitely a thing for like graffiti crews and bachelor parties and like groups of anybody who goes in, like we're going to Six Flags, we're all gonna get hats to go to Six Flags together. That's like a thing that people do here. It's like
it's a family
just like T-shirts. They get hats.
It's a family thing. And then there's like stickers that have holograms, and it's a big deal. Some people leave them on, some people don't. So this is the new frontier. I am really happy about this. I think
was
this
inspired
is cool.
by the streetwear. There was like a 10-year-old boy that I saw wearing a hat like this. Anyway. Use this pro needle technique. Don't stab yourself. Learn from my mistakes and use 2 needles to sew your custom letters onto your hat. And you can do it in any color PLA. I just chose to use the glow in the dark because, then features. It has extra features.
Okay. All right.
It's good. Noe helped me out. That was a fun collaboration.
All right. Don't pay a bunch.
Don't pay full price for your filament.
For your filaments. And as Phil, I meant it, filaments.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, component of the week. Okay, this is an interesting component of the week because it's like multiple
Many components. We don't have a segment for parts pack of the week.
Moment of the week. Moment.
What am I supposed to call the segment if it's a parts pack instead of a component?
At the MoMA Museum, when you get mints, they're MoMA mints.
MoMA
mints.
MoMA. Okay, anyway. The Flora, getting started with Adafruit Flora book parts pack is a really good deal. It's $100 for all of this stuff, and it's a lot of stuff. It's a really good deal. If you're looking to give a parts pack to as a present for somebody who's getting started in wearables, this is your pack. So it has all of my personal favorites and then some. You want to zoom in and I'll describe all of the parts for you.
Oh, yes.
It has the book. It has an alkaline battery pack and batteries. It has needles and conductive thread. It has the long alligator clips and also the short alligator clips. Sometimes you're clipping components together and they're really close together and you don't need all of that length on your alligator clip. Well, this is the only pack we offer with both different types of alligator clips. You get a USB cable for your Flora. You have 10 LED sequins in warm white, so that'll enable you to do really simple projects like the one you see on the cover. And you've got 8 sewable NeoPixels, so you can sew those into a scarf or around the hood of your sweatshirt. And it has 2 of my favorite and 2 of the most popular sensors for Flora. That would be the LSM303 accelerometer compass board that'll let you do the 2 of the projects in the book, and then also the color sensor, which is very fun to play around with. And 2 different types of conductive thread, 2-ply and 3-ply for your far away sewing NeoPixels and your close by sewing NeoPixels.
Okay.
And then 2 JST battery connection wires. We had these wires custom made for us, and it uses the female connector that's actually supposed to go on a circuit board free-wired. And so the reason there's 2 is because you might break one before you're done playing with the book. And I wanted to make sure that you had you have a good time the whole way through. Being beginners have a tendency to abuse their stuff without knowing what they're doing. That's okay. We got you covered. This is my favorite ultimate parts pack. I know it's out of stock right now, but you can sign up and
It's because it's so popular.
It's out of stock because of Chinese New Year, but
And it's so popular.
we're working on it. You can sign up to be notified when it's back in stock, and then you'll get it right away. But I have some pictures from the book. We want to go through some pictures of what you can build with the
Why
book.
don't you drive by and do some tweets?
Okay, yeah, that's right. We're not caught up on tweets because Phil and I are tag teaming this show today.
Yeah.
The book includes a lot of introductory information about the tools and materials you need to get started with wearable electronics. So that's your insider scoop on like how to use the sewing machine with your conductive thread and what's the best substance to use to seal your knots on your conductive thread. Hint, it's clear nail polish. Then it goes into 3 distinct projects. A very beginner project, that's an embroidery project. You don't actually have to embroider it if you don't want to. It's just changing the color of a NeoPixel using a sewable snap as a switch and reading that digital input. Then the intermediate project is the Sparkle Skirt, which most of you diehard fans know well. It is the motion-activated light-up skirt that uses the I2C LSM303 accelerometer module to randomly light up some LEDs. And then the advanced project is the Flora Neo Geo watch that Tyler Cooper and I made together that is uses both the compass aspect of the LSM303 to find north and wayfinding, and combines that with the GPS to do navigation and timekeeping on your wrist. And that's a soldering project. So runs the gamut of different skill levels, and those are actual photos of the color photos in the book. So it's pretty nice quality.
Yeah, that gamut's always running.
Always
Good old
running the gamut.
Good old gamut. All right.
I don't even know what gamut means.
It's cool. It's running. That's a cool name for a product, gamut.
You should see if it's trademarked. Writing it down.
Yeah.
What it would just like, could we have called our 9DOF sensor that instead? Because it's like all of the feels.
Oh, hey, I'm gonna step off for a second. So why don't you do the next thing?
Phil is a popular guy. If you want to get 10% off your wearables packs, I know the Flora Parts Pack is not in stock, but if you want to get 10% off your whole order, excluding gift certificates and EagleCAD software, you can use code HATS upon checkout. And now it's time for Project Workshop. That's where I give you personal consulting time to answer one of your more elaborate questions. Today's question comes from some C. Wells 97. Love watching the shows, so thank you for putting all the extra effort into entertaining and educating us each week. Oh, thank you, and you're welcome. I have a Becky question. I would like to make a talking stuffed bear using something like a Build-A-Bear with an Adafruit Audio FX board inside and several activation switches. What is your suggestion for the best switch to use inside the bear's paws that can still be actuated through a fluff stuffed paw? Plus, is there an easy way to have the bear register orientation, say hanging upside down versus standing upright, with just a sensor added to activate the soundboard, or would I need to involve a separate microcontroller with sensor to activate the FX board?
That's a question.
Excellent project description. Excellent project to try to make.
Yeah.
I have some answers for you. In the Adafruit shop, we have several switches that might suit your needs. I like these tactile switches and they have these big buttons on top. And they come in a package of 10. We have them in round and square. Probably pretty easy to trigger through some stuffing. They're just like clicky tactile switches. But typically when you look at a plush toy, and I've done a couple plush toy teardowns, so I recommend you go to like Target or your Goodwill or something and you find a electronic plush toy and you take it apart, and you can actually harvest those switches and use them for your own project. But they'll also just give you ideas. So this is like a graphic I found online from an audio board for building your own plush toy that has the switches already attached, and you can see that they're encased in plastic and they have like a big actuator button. So you could actually take a switch like this tactile on-off switch from our store, and you could take your own plastic part. It could be 3D printed, it could just be cut from like a piece of garbage you have, a piece of packing material from that new webcam you just bought. And just so that it gives it like a bigger surface area and something to trigger, because you're just gonna wrap it in fluffy stuff anyway. So my advice to you is there to check out the Adafruit buttons, but also get creative with adding things, gluing things to the actuator of the button to get the desired sensitivity that you're looking for. And then as far as orientation sensing, yes, you're in luck. There's a pretty easy way to do this. You can use the tilt ball switch, and all it is a can and a ball inside a metal ball inside the can. And when the ball is in one orientation, it's touching both poles, and when it's in the other orientation, the ball falls to the other side, and it doesn't touch one of the poles. So it's a very basic switch. It's a $2 part, so it's obviously not very complicated.
It's one of my favorite ones, because one of the things that we'll get emailed about is like, how can I want something to tilt and I should use this accelerometer, and there's a huge technical solution, and then there's the tilt ball switch.
The tilt ball switch. It's pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's for $2. It really gets you really far. And then
but perfect is tough, because
nothing is perfect. If you want perfect, go.
There is, but it takes a lot of effort to keep it that way. It's like perfect. It just wants to explode.
And you don't want your electronics. Yeah, I know. Perfection just anyway. And then if you want a guide to follow for how to incorporate that tilt ball switch with your audio effects board, check out the Audio Prank gift box, the shake activated gift box. It uses the vibration sensor instead of the tilt ball switch, but they're very similar switches, and I believe you could substitute one for the other in the circuit diagram, which does include using, I don't remember, like a 10K resistor or something to help with, because the audio effects board has a bunch of debouncing built in. So if the trigger is very, very short, it won't register, so you need something that'll help, or sorry, it's not a resistor, it's a capacitor, which helps like the current flow for longer after the switch has been activated. Capacitor.
Yeah, like
check.
a bucket of water.
I know there's a reason. Once it's out of my brain and into the learning system, it doesn't stay up here.
3rd edition of Art of Electronics is coming out. Late Ada quoted on the cover. You will see Transistor Man. Transistor Man. I wonder if he's going to make a return. I don't know.
How do transistors work? Whenever anybody asks me, I just tell them there's a little man inside, and I have a T-shirt to prove it.
I tell them there's a little woman inside. Okay.
Anyway. Good luck with your project. Let us know how it turns out. Please come on the show and tell. Check out the learning system for the prank gift box for how to hook up your sensor, and I can't wait to see how it turns out.
Okay.
Cool.
I like this segment.
That's Project Workshop. So if you have a project you'd like me to workshop, remember, it does also make you eligible for the giveaway, so there's no like weird, am I asking a long question or a short question? We're keeping it real simple here. If you have a project you want guidance on, you can post up in the comments or in the Adafruit forums is a good place too, and we'll grab your project ideas and workshop them on the show.
So when you get these questions, you're like, I'm going to workshop it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll treat you like one of my grad students.
That's how you decide. When some are just like question and answers, which we're about to do, but then some of them you're like, you know what?
I have more to say. If I have more to say and I want to show you lots of slides and give you tutorials that I think you should follow, I put it in this new segment.
We'll make a little box in case of workshop for class. Okay, we'll do that. All right.
We started playing Hearts at the office. We started last Friday. We stayed late and played Hearts with some folks, and we kept making the smashing glass noise that the solitaire. Do you ever play Hearts on the computer? And when Hearts is broken, it makes the glass shattered noise. We kept making the glass shattered noise.
All right, that's cool.
Fun times on Friday nights at the AT
Factory.
Hats. If you want to get some of those supplies, a tilt ball switch or some switches for your own talking plush toy, you can don't pay full price.
No.
10% off.
All right, well, let's do the question and answers. If you've got questions, Becky has answers.
I want to tell you so many things.
On big screen, number 1. This is from Hog Spires of Ground. I'm trying to light up a friend's cane. It has an acrylic ball in the side and a hand with just enough room at the bottom to put one of these. There's a thing.
It's a sequin.
Wondering how to do it and any suggestions for it. Thanks.
Don't
All right.
judge spelling. We don't judge spelling here.
I'm not judging spelling.
You're just pronouncing what's there.
You get a billion emails from me. Obviously, I'm not motivated or interested in spelling.
I wasn't gonna
You guys
say
are
it.
lucky to get vowels.
I wasn't going to say anything about that. Yeah, if you want to put a sequin in your acrylic cane, I would use a rotary tool like a Dremel to make a little path for it and the wires, and then I would use a gemma or a trinket is even smaller and like stick it with either double-sided foam tape or Velcro tape to the side of the cane with a tiny little battery. If you look at the LED sequins guide on the learning system, you can follow one of those circuits. There's a little circuit diagram there. And wire it up. That sounds like a cool project. I use a cane quite often, actually, and I don't love drawing attention to myself while I'm using the cane. That's why I haven't done cane electronics project, but it sounds pretty fun.
Canes are cool. Next up, Humberto. I made a few wearable gifts that use the LiPo batteries with NeoPixels and microcontroller, trinket gemma, etc. I also give them an Adafruit LiPo charger for the battery. Is it better to top off the LiPo battery between each use, or to let the LiPo battery completely drain and then recharge it?
So old LiPoly batteries and like cell phone batteries, and like I gotta say, we've gotten in life and technology a lot better at managing batteries. It used to be that your cell phone battery would like stop working because the charge controller wasn't managing the watermark. So what he's talking about is, or she is talking about, when you drain a battery out a certain amount and then charge it again, they can get like a sort of a high water line and like all of these different lines at the charge marks, and it can like reduce the battery's capacity to hold a charge. These days, the Adafruit charging circuit is really good, and the charging circuit on board the battery is really good, so it really minimizes that like high watermark effect that you're talking about, and it doesn't matter. Like, charge your batteries whenever you want. You're not going to notice a dramatic change in the whole lifespan of your battery based on your charging practices if you're using Adafruit LiPoly batteries and Adafruit LiPoly chargers.
Okay.
It used to be a bigger deal than it is now.
I remember when it was like put them in the refrigerator and condition them, drain them all the way, and then drain it back up.
We don't believe in battery voodoo here at Adafruit, only battery science.
All right. Question for next week: how can I add an on-off switch to the Gemma earrings? Also, can I charge it easily without having to unplug the power cable from the Gemma? It's annoying to pull it off all the time. Thanks, Becky plus team.
Yeah, I feel you on that, but there's some reasons. I'm going to explain them to you. You can add a switch, so all you do is you make a little JST adapter using the JST extension cable, and you can wire a switch in line with that. You can also wire a switch directly to your battery, although the former is recommended. And also, the new Gemma will have an on-off switch on board. Regarding your other question, with Gemma and Flora, we made a design decision to not put a LiPoly charger on board, and that's because the board's designed to be sewn onto fabric, and although you're not using it in that context, it's still close to your body, and because it could be on fabric, we don't recommend charging LiPoly batteries while they're touching fabric because they can heat up, and we want for beginners, we want to make sure that we've ensured your safety. So what I recommend you do if you want to make the earrings, because they're not, you're not going to be charging that battery on fabric, is you could substitute the trinket for the Gemma and put the JST, the LiPoly backpack on it.
Yeah.
Can you put the LiPoly backpack on the trinket? I don't remember. You can wire it to it. I don't know if you can.
Yes, the backpack does work, I believe, but I have to check on the site.
We designed it to work with the Pro Trinket,
Yeah,
the Audio FX board.
Pro Trinket for sure.
Anyway, you can use the LiPoly backpack does let you charge battery using the regular USB port. Actually, you could free wire it to a Gemma. Yeah.
Okay.
You could free wire that to a Gemma on the back or something.
Okay.
And then you just plug in over USB and charge your battery. Just don't do it on fabric. And that's why we did that with Flora and Gemma. So for fabric use. I know it's round and we can't please everybody, but we can make everybody safe with our design decisions.
I'm going to try to. All right, this is from Jamil Taylor. Hey, hope all is well. I want to sew and make smart NeoPixel LED sash so it can be interchangeable between clothes and jackets. I'm not sure the best way to turn it on by switch, though. I know Flora has a switch, but I can't decide between a conductive Velcro switch, a regular switch, or the DIY sensor film kit. Which do you suggest? Or, man, I had another or I could have gone on. Or, think it would be a good one, in your opinion. Also, if you ever want to take a trip to New York and see your warehouse, see you guys, things you do, would that be possible? That would be awesome. I can answer the last one first. We can't do tours. We made an agreement with the building that we just don't have a bunch of people. It's a manufacturing facility. Can't have people. We do tons of videos. We do tons of photos. We are part of your life. You are part of ours. You are here with us. We are in the
talking to you right now.
Heart of Adafruit. So that's the only thing we can't do. And I think maybe one day, if we ever get the opportunity and Adafruit grows to have its own building, I would love to have a visitor center where you get on this little thing. It's like, welcome to the Adafruit ride. If you've ever been to Disneyland, like, journey through electronics.
I have, and I also have been on a tour. You know where I went on a factory tour of that was really cool was the Tillamook Cheese Factory was it in Oregon.
And they keep you separate from like the stuff. That's the thing, because you don't want someone messing up the cheese.
No, you know what? Everybody's wearing like hairnets and like you're behind glass most of the time.
Yeah, so that we're in the same situation.
Right, we don't want to get your hair into our kits.
You can't.
Anyway,
we don't want you to mess up the cheese.
or distract the cheese workers. You can, to answer your question, many of our JAMA circuits on the learning system use this configuration of switch where it uses the JST extension cable to make an adapter that you plug the LiPoly battery into, and it has a slide switch attached to it. I wouldn't use the Velcro. In this circuit, the switch is switching the current, so all of the current for your circuit is going through the switch. I would not recommend that configuration for the Velcro because the Velcro has high resistance. So if you put a lot of current through it, it's going to resist the current and limit the amount that's flowing through, and it's also going to heat up and potentially catch your clothes on fire. So don't use conductive Velcro in this circuit. Use a regular soldered switch. And I would recommend you use, if something like the sash here, the bandolier of light circuit you're seeing right here that has so many LEDs, we use like a tactile on-off switch that can handle as much current as the NeoPixels are going to draw, and that's very important. You can, however, use the conductive Velcro and what was the other one, and the sensor film kit to make a digital switch on one of your digital IOs on your Flora to like change the modes, because then you're just sensing that pin and then using that pin input to switch the colors or whatever. You're not actually like funneling the actual current for the LEDs through that material.
Okay. All right, it's giveaway time.
Oh, okay. Do you guys want a signed copy of my book?
This is I'll manage expectations.
Thank you.
So here's the deal, folks. This is the one and only signed copy of Getting Started with Flora we will ever do. We did it on Ask an Engineer. Mm-hmm. That was the other time.
Yep.
This is the last and only time. So this is.
Can I tell them why? Because I don't want to be mean. It's so that you can get your prize faster.
I'll be. Who you want to be? Good cop or bad cop?
No, I'm going to be both right now. I'm going to
you're going to be both cops.
There's no good and bad about this. It's that the prizes. If the prize is personalized in some way, it delays the prize because the team has to find me and find the prize, and there's some confusion. Whereas if the prize is a product, then it takes care of itself, and you get it very quickly with very little hassle.
No problem.
So this is a special thing we're doing where I'm going to sign the book, and you're going to get the signed book.
But this is it, folks. This is it. Okay.
Anyway, everybody who asked a question is in my Glow Fill Sticky Burn hat, and also the Project Workshop question. Oh no, I dropped on the floor.
Oh. And that's the last time I saw Becky. Oh, you're back. I had the bolt for kind of a thing I had to do. Imagine if I never came back.
My phone is. I mean, like I would have been able to finish the show. Oh, but if you never came back ever,
just going out for a pack of smokes. So there's a Ducati dealership across the street. I'm supposed to get on one and go into the sunset.
But you'd get hungry and have to stop, and there are no In-N-Out burgers around here, so like you'd come back.
I wouldn't get very far.
The winner is Hog Spire's Ground. You were trying to light up your friend's cane. Well, this Flora book might help you get part of the way there. Congratulations. You can expedite your prize receivingness by emailing support@adafruit.com.
Cane maker, you get a signed copy. Go forth with light up cane.
That's really nice of you to make a project for your friend. It's very thoughtful of you.
Okay, so don't forget the code TAT. It'll be on till 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everything in stock except for gift certificates and software. I think people want more. Where would they go for more?
If you have a project you'd like to show, you can join our weekly Google Plus Hangout Show and Tell tonight, every Wednesday at 7:30. Just make a comment on the Google Plus announcement that you'd like to be added to the circle. Then you'll be invited this weekend every week to show and tell. And you can pop in and show off your own project. It's always a fun time. You get to hang out and have one-on-one time with Mr. and Mrs. Lady Ada. Noe and Pedro usually come, Tony DeCola, Phil B. If you wanted that Adafruit tour, you should come to the show and tell and hang out. It's much better. Less walking.
In HD. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, tomorrow's a big day because the longest running best 3D printing show is on.
The video about the new printer is really...
The Ember?
It's very visually stunning.
And it's futuristic. It's cool. Vats of goo can create solid objects. It's so weird.
So neat.
So weird. And he has all he has is gloves, and he's like, oh, I'm going to do this thing now. And he's in a garage, and he has a face mask, and E.T. is there, and
serious
they
business.
saved the day.
So be sure to check back tomorrow for the 3D printing show with Noe and Pedro, and where they also announce a discount code and go over some really cool 3D printing projects, teach you some CAD, and it's generally a fun time.
Okay, that's it for the show, everybody.
Thanks for watching. Thanks
That's
for bearing
everything.
with our omnipresent, partially present co-host today.
Everything's happening all at once at the same time.
Phil wears a lot of hats
Today-
at this company.
Today, let me tell you, you know what it's like? It's like
That doesn't fit you, does it?
it's like every 4th of July all at once.
Phil has a big head. This hat is a little bit too big for me. It's stylishly too big for me.
That's all right.
This unstylishly too small for you. You look like Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. We'll be back again next week with more wearable electronics. Take care. Have a nice one.
Bye-bye.